Hello Steelers and welcome to another bench report hobby update. This one might be a bit short, to be honest, because I've not managed to do a lot of stuff this week, simply because I've been relatively busy doing various other bits and pieces, I'm afraid, that haven't been hobby involved, but I have managed to actually get some painting done. The first thing was, I don't know if anybody was watching the live stream earlier this week, and I was able to finish off the French Platoon from Peter Pig that I bought a little while ago. These are 15mm. This is going to be for Through the Mud and the Blood, of course, and it's also my first First World War French figures that I've painted. These are in their Horizon Blue uniforms, so I might do another platoon of these at some point in the future. I was looking for the Battlefront ones, but they're currently out of production, unfortunately, so fingers crossed, hoping for those to come through at some point in the future. But I might get some more Peter Pig figures. They are absolutely lovely, to be honest. Just do a bit of mix of the various poses that they have for the other ones, for the other platoon. But also as well, I was able to finish off two of the tabletop studio buildings that I'd been working on. These are the ones you'll recall that were sent over by Adam. These are just generic Normandy buildings. I added some sabotaged walls for the back gardens for these, in fact, and but yeah, they're 3D printed as well. And I was going to start some more, but I've run out of embossed plastic cards, so I'm just waiting for that to come through in the post. But these were finished. Two buildings here, so two little, basically, I think a boulangerie and the other one I don't even know what it is. So I don't know. Who knows? French building shops. So these will look great, just mixed in with my other buildings. So for Second World War, but they could probably, to be honest, they could probably stretch through for years and years, or decades, really. So really this week I've kind of started on other things as well, and I've actually started on another bunch of French infantry for the First World War, including a few more big men as well. I just want to get those done because I've got quite a few of these labels that I want to use up just on some of the big men. So they're mounted on pennies. The actual figures themselves are mounted on 15mm rounds. These are MDF rounds. You can get those anywhere. War bases do them. Everybody does them who makes MDF stuff. So I use those. And these are just going to be some like just generic bits and pieces that I can add in, so I can, you know, make up like scout parties or sentries or that kind of thing. Just something extra outside of that specific platoon makeup as well. And also as well, whilst I was thinking about it, I started looking around some of my older stuff that I've had in boxes for a long time, and I remembered that when I bought the Great War by Plastic Soldier Company, they produced a tank version of it, which has they also released a Saint Chamond and a Schneider model as well with them, and also some whippets as well. So I dug those out, and I'd actually painted both the three whippets that come in the box. They're quite pricey compared to other 15mm figures, but they're 1/100th, but they do come pre-painted. I just originally, all I'd done is give them a bit of a wash. These are the whippets. There's three of them here, and as we are coming up to Yorkshire Day, I suppose it's only pertinent that I introduce some whippets to the battlefield. I've already got some others from QRS, but they're not very nice. These ones are absolutely lovely though. These are really nice, and they're quite light as well because they're plastic. But I'm not really sure. I think they're actual like almost toys because they've got screws in underneath them. Well, I mean they're kind of toys anyway. So what I've done is I've kind of gone back to them and I've just weathered them. These are the whippets, and then I've started making some bases for them as well. I thought, well, I'm probably not going to use them in the Great War, or if I do, I can still use them with the bases anyway. So they're worthwhile actually revisiting. So yeah, I dug those out. Those three, and then I realised that I also had a couple of French tanks as well because I bought all the extras when they did their Kickstarter and they released everything. I've got the box full of British Mark IVs, but I've also got several metal Mark IVs as well from Peter Pig. So I'll probably not mess about with those so much. But these ones I've got, as I mentioned it already, the French tanks they came with the Saint Chamond, which is the typical one. If you've seen what's it called, Quiet on the Western Front, you'll know the Saint Chamond because it's what they're using at the end, and they also have a Schneider as well, which is CA5 I think it is. So this as well, the two types of French tanks. For Through the Mud and the Blood, I'm probably never going to need more than one of each, so these are perfect for those. So I dug those out. and I've undercoated them. Again, these came very, very basically painted in green, but I want to do them as actual French camouflage colours because they're interesting. So I painted these, undercoated these ready, and I'm going to paint them. And I'm actually going to do a painting video of the Saint Chamond as well, based on the one that is at the, I think it's the Samoa Tank Museum. They have a working one there, so I'm going to copy their camouflage pattern and then make that into a painting video as well. Somebody else suggested it recently, so I thought, well, I'll do that. It's a nice easy thing. And then again, I've made the bases up for those as well already, so they're just ready to go. So they're quite nice, and they are lovely, really, really nice models. So I don't know where Plastic Soldier Company produced these from, but they are still for sale, and I did check on their website. Put a link as usual down in the description down below. So they're ready to go, and they are ready to be painted. The other thing, sticking with armour as well, Dex, my pal down at the club, he had bought some resin models, and I think there was an FT tank, which again I'm probably going to need at some point for my French forces. And this is the only thing that I actually got in the post this week, and it was these. And these, the guy who makes, or gal who makes the things that Dex had bought, he put a link to them. They're on eBay. They also did these dug-in Panthers, and these are from GPD over on eBay. Again, I'll put a link to their shop in the description down below so you can go find them. They've got some interesting stuff. Not a huge amount of things, but they've got like dug-in markers, they've got ammo dumps and that kind of thing as well as a few tanks as well. And they're reasonably priced. I think I paid about 15 quid for 3. And these are dug-in Panthers, you can see here. So these are the bases of them. All I've done so far is just add some sand to the outside of them. You don't really need to. And it saves... and I know somebody's going to say it in the comments, well, you know, you could just use a Plastic Soldier Company one or something. You could, but it saves cutting up a perfectly good tank, and you know, you've got it there already done with the sandbags and stuff. So I thought that was a nice little thing, and then they can be used. They're not Panzer terms, they are actual dug-in Panthers, but I can use those, you know, for the fall of the Reich or something, 1945 stuff, as they're pushing, the Soviets are pushing through the east. So that'll be interesting, I think. The other thing as well that's happened this week was earlier in the week, myself, Sean and Ken got together to record another Bruiser in the Vineyard, the summer special. This was also Ken's Yorkshire Gamers Championship League for Wargaming rules as well. So we were doing the draws for that, which was quite fun. And that was a good laugh. I think it went on for about 4 hours. I'm assuming the edited version is probably going to be a bit shorter, but God, it was a long one, but it was a good laugh, and it's always good fun. So look out for that on Yorkshire Gamers podcast. I'll put links on the Storm Steel Facebook page as always, and in the Storm Steel group as well whenever I can. The other thing as well that I did buy is Undaunted Normandy has just been released as a PC game over on Steam. I bought it literally this weekend, just as it came out. I was out when it did come out, so I wasn't able to buy it, but I waited a day or so and I got it. I've already played through the first scenario and it looks great. Well, graphically it's not amazing, I'm going to say, but it's £12. Gameplay works perfectly well, as you would expect from a Normandy game, Undaunted game, and hopefully it means that they might be bringing other stuff out as well. They might even, you never know, they might end up doing the Stalingrad campaign in full as a digital version, which would be really good. So I'm going to play some more of that. I might even do some videos of it if people are interested, just of gameplay and things, but we'll see. And the other thing, as I said, I've not really had any games this week, simply because on Thursday I went over to the cinema to see Oppenheimer, because it was the only time that I could get in. Every other date was booked up. So me and my wife went over for date night to go and see the destruction of the world. But it's a really good film. The first third, I think, was a bit jumpy, a bit all over the place. The soundtrack is way too loud and was very, very annoying, I thought. But apart from that, overall, really good film. Once they get to Los Alamos, and it actually kind of calms down a little bit, instead of jumping all over the place, it becomes a really good film. I understand what Christopher Nolan's tried to do. He always has things out a chronological order. in his films. I understand that completely, but it just felt a little too jumpy because each of the sections was just a little too short. But it still worked, and I thought it was an excellent film. I'd like to go back and see it again to see the stuff that I missed. And you know, if you're expecting a war film, don't expect a war film. It's a character study, basically, of Oppenheimer, his rise, the development of the bomb, and then also how he was thrown out of the atomic committee in I think in the late 40s, and then his slight redemption later on. I mean, you know the story. If you know the story of him, you know the story anyway. But it is great. It's good to see. Absolutely full as well. The cinema absolutely packed, which was quite surprising for that kind of film as well. I'm wondering if it was the hype between that and Barbie that has got a lot of people wanting to go and see it, whether they knew about it or not. Because I would assume it probably a lot of people probably found it quite boring because it is nearly 3 hours long and is a lot of people talking, which I found great. So. This next 2 weeks I'm going to be away. It's our excavations, Operation Nightingale excavations up at Otterburn. So this is my work. So we're going to be digging on the site where we were digging at before, which is a Bronze Age, Iron Age site. It's a project that I put together as part of my work, and then we hand it over to some professional archaeologists, and they then teach the volunteers and the veterans how to dig, basically, for the next 2 weeks. So it's always good fun. It's always interesting. But that means I'm going to be away up in the wilds of Northumberland for the next 2 weeks, and I'm not going to be available. So don't expect any updates at least for 2 weeks, possibly for 3. I would have thought. By that time, I may have got some more stuff in the post, or I may have painted stuff. There's not much point in me telling you what I haven't done, isn't there, really, until I've done something. So I'm going to be away for a while. Hopefully the sun is going to be shining for the next 2 weeks, but it is Otterburn, so we'll just see. It's one of those places. There's a training range, and the motto is, if it's raining, it's training. So I'm assuming wet, but I think it'll be fun. So I'll leave it at that. There's not much else to tell you really this week. I'm just kind of waiting for a few other bits and pieces to come through the post, and once they do, I'll tell you about those when I do get them in a few weeks and when I'm back as well. So like I say, don't expect any more update videos for a little while, but I do have videos coming out over the next 2 weeks, of course. They're already scheduled, so just check out on Fridays. There will be new videos for you, if nothing else. And I'll leave it at that and say, if you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, and also check out the Patreon and channel memberships if you want to help the channel out and if you want to help it keep going. And I'll leave it at that and say thank you once again for watching.